What's up, y'all? Everybody, how's everybody doing on this funny, wet Saturday in New England? What's happening? Let's make something happen. You know how you make stuff happen? Find something that works for you. Something. Yeah. So, you ever call people to check in with them to see how they doing? I know it's not part of the norm anymore. We just kind of don't check in and see you when I see you. But I think it's better when you do, because it shows a person that you're thinking about them, for one, But unfortunately, a lot of us don't do that because we're so turned out by technology. Basically, it's just technology that turns us out. So that's why we don't. We kind of text and, that's it. And nowadays, texting is so much a norm that we don't even give it a second thought, because it's what we do. We text about this, we text about that. Yet, sometimes people can't pick up the phone. But I also think that we don't pick up the phone because we like to hide. We like to hide what we're feeling. And when you hide what you're feeling, you don't get the full effect of those feelings, if that makes sense. Yeah. It's easy to say, hey, just checking in and say hello, or call somebody like, oh, I'm good, whatever, and that's it. For another 2 months or whatever. But when you call somebody, you're forced to talk to them. And you can tell when somebody don't want to talk or can't talk because they're working at their computer or they're currently doing something and want to acknowledge you but can't speak too long. Whatever. But yeah, communication. I want to say I could practice more of it, but I am kind of big on being able to talk to someone. Randomly text people, because like I said, sometimes you can't pick up the phone. Once you get used to that, you know what happens? Other people put that expectation on you. They get used to hearing you or about to hear from you, and like, oh, that's so-and-so. So-and-so is going to be calling, or so-and-so is calling, or whatever the case may be. It just happens a lot. You want it to happen. You want to be a part of that fixture where you see people that are. And it makes you think. You kind of look back and like, oh, wow, so-and-so. I had to talk with so-and-so. That person's name might come up. You can say that person's doing good because I actually had to talk with that person. You just never know. So communication is big. It's important. And I know that a lot of people just don't care to communicate, at least not verbal. They like to just, hide behind text, hide behind their feelings. And I'm good. It'll be all right. That's just a language that we use now to define what we feel. Come on. That's what we do, because we're so much in a rush to do nothing or go nowhere. Just a little thoughts that I'm having. You know how it is. We have our thoughts about what we're feeling, what our experiences are, and that's what we do. So that's what I'm doing. Expressoing my thoughts, my feelings, my connections with people. And because people are being so turned out nowadays that they don't know how to talk, it's not that they don't know how, because they have the convenience of these cell phones, that they're so okay with how to deal with people or how to chat with people. It's just so easier for them to think and feel that way, which is bad. It's really bad, because for a lot of reasons. One, your blinders are on, as far as communication goes. Somebody who's been drinking for 15 years and all of a sudden they don't drink no more, I expect for their communication skills to be depleted. But, you know, just the everyday person. You ever get on a train, experiment it? I don't really do trains, but I'll do it every great once in a while out of convenience. And I remember sitting and listening to people, watching people like, damn, we all had our head downs on our phone, weren't really talking. There were some people that were next to one another, all conversing about something that was happening on a social conversation on the phone. And it made me think about while I was in San Diego Airport a few years back. And I looked behind me to see a bunch of people that were on their phones, heads down. And everyone was going to Boston, Logan Airport. And it just made me wonder, I mean, it made me, you know, kind of like another confirmation of, wow, how wired we have become in our advanced technology. Yeah, just a little something. Blake having some thoughts about communication or lack of it, and why it's important to have communication. It builds your esteem, it builds you up. Because communication is related to how we have friendships. Yeah, communication is connected to how we have friendships or the type of friendships we have. And of course, everybody's kind of doing the same thing, but everybody's not kind of on the same page. So, you know, it works like it's supposed to. You know, because if I call and you can't answer, and then that turns into the norm, or this one likes to talk and I don't like to talk, I just like to text, I have to accept your method of how you communicate or leave you alone. You know, but yeah. Yeah, communication or lack of it. Take your pick. But it's real either way. Yeah, either way. But yeah, things that you see to remind you of other things that you see, or experiences that you've had with other things that, you know, play their part as well. I don't think too much about stuff, but I think too much about stuff. Different things I see along the way. Like, I have an upcoming trip to Los Angeles, specifically to Methadone Mile. I'm thinking of Boston. Skid Row. And I'm going to document the homelessness, or the combined homelessness and active addiction, the effect that it's having on society throughout the country. But there specifically because that is the largest concentration of addiction and or homelessness throughout the country, I think. Yes. And so I'm going to go and document that for a day and a half or two, for a few hours, for a few days. And then I'm going to look at other. I've been to LA before. I never went to Skid Row though, but this time I'm going to go because I've been hearing about it for a long time. Now I want to see, and I want to share that information with others, which I'm going to do, so they can see for themselves how strong this is. And it always feels good to know that there's something that you're being drawn to, and you want to share that genuinely with other people. And that's exactly what Blake is going to do. I have anxiety because this will be my first time doing something like this, and this is on a large scale. I did put out a previous documentary, and some of it was based in Boston, the Methadone Mile section, or for the politically correct Massincast. By the way, I'm not politically correct. I say it like it is, because that's what I do. And then those things can get transformed into other things to get more attention by the type of language you use. I just use what works for Blake. But anyway, yes, that's where I'm at on that and the previous about communication, or how we communicate with one another, or lack thereof communication with one another as far as talking to them goes, and not just texting. But yeah, it is what it is. That's one of the sayings, right? Where'd that come from? You ever thought about that? I have. I haven't come up with nothing. Things are just what they are. Like dap. We all give dap today, but it's a sign of affection, and it comes from a certain place that I know of anyway. Yeah, all kinds of little things we do that we've done for so long, we just kind of do them because that's the thing to do. But when you question where they come from, it kind of takes you somewhere else. But anyway, before I get lost in what I'm sharing with you, I don't want to do that. So yeah, I'm going to end it with that. But think about it though. Pick up the phone sometime and call somebody. Randomly call that person. Or randomly text that person. And then say, hey, I want to talk to you. That person's going to think that's important. And what you might say is, oh, I'm just checking in. That might not be received as important, but to you it is. But you might get that person to see, maybe I should start calling somebody. Maybe I should start calling family members. Maybe I should just start doing something different. Here's a sign for me. You just never know where these things take you. But be prepared for them. And even if you're not prepared, know that if you pick up the phone, you might get the service you wasn't looking for in terms of that good feeling you have by talking to someone, speaking to them about, shit, life, things happening. I have a few people that I do that with. I randomly call them. I text a whole lot of people randomly, but that's just what I do, just how I am. All right, this is Blake, and I'm going to check out from here. But yes, please reach out to those. And if there's someone that you really care about, that you say you love, that means something to you, do it while you're able to. Because one day they won't be. She won't be, he won't be. I have to say this. Someone that I know that's dear to me, has become, made a very dark assessment. And that was how she might end up dead. And that's through a car accident based on how she drives. And I had to think about that. We all have ways that we don't want to go and ways we do want to go. But when she said, that's the way I drive, death would probably be my accident. That's a hard one to swallow there. That's a hard one. But like I said, if that person means something to you, text them, call them. Or even if you're building a relationship with that person, reach out. All right, I'm out. This is Blake. Word.